What are they going to find when it comes to the activist who has escaped and is in the custody, if you will, of the U.S. Embassy now, and the battle between the party leaders? What's going on there right now that we should know about?
他说现在Hillary Clinton 正往北京去，财政部长 Gaetano 也要过去。他说他们到了北京以后会发现是什么样的情况，尤其关于活跃分子现在据说是在美国的保护之下。
我想这可能是个很大的问题，因为新闻界都很关注陈光诚的问题，那么这必然成为双方谈判的时候的一个筹码。我想现在可能中国的手里牌比美国手里牌多。
I think this will be a bigger issue because the news medias are very interested of the outcome of this blind activist Chen Guangzheng. And then what would come out of that? It naturally, his case will become a card played by both sides. And I'm afraid that the Chinese side, the Chinese government has more cards to play out on this issue than American.
But the people inside China aren't even being told about this controversy. So how is it going to play out or have an impact in China?
他说：“可是在中国的那些人都不知道，都没有被告诉这件事情，这个有争议的事情。那么，他这个情况，他是会怎么样在中国被处理呢？”
你说陈光诚的事情，实际上是中国大部分人会知道这个事情。
Eventually, a lot of people in China will know this situation.
而且关键是，国外的所有人都知道了。
The key issue is all the people overseas know about it.
那现在就成为美国政府的一个难题了。
So now it become a dilemma for the American government too.
What does the Chinese government have to do? We can't make them do anything.
那中国政府会做什么？我们不能强迫他们做任何事情啊。
所以就要跟他们谈判。
Yes, then you come to the negotiation.
如果陈光诚被送回去了，或者出现了任何危险，我想国际舆论可能不会放过奥巴马，所以这成了奥巴马的一个难题。
If you return Mr. Chen Guangcheng back, or he returns home without protection, then all the people, the whole international society will condemn such a doing, and therefore it is a dilemma for the Obama administration.
It's a dilemma for the Obama administration, maybe, but it's not a dilemma for the Chinese government, correct?
他说对奥巴马是个难题，但对中国政府并不是难题，是吗？
那当然，因为让不让他出来，完全在中国政府手里，这是成了中国政府的一张牌。
Yes, of course. If what happened to Mr. Chen is really in the handler of the Chinese government. Therefore, Mr. Chen become a card played by the Chinese government. Will Mr. Chen be able to leave the embassy? That's what he meant.
Well, what I'm trying to figure out here is, how does this incident with the activists impact on the Chinese government? Does it can we use this to force the Chinese government to do anything? I suspect not.
他说，关于这个活跃分子的情况，这件事情能不能，他对中国政府会有什么样的冲击？我们能不能做什么让中国政府改变？还是我觉得我们做不了什么事儿。
我觉得奥巴马政府这个时候可以做一些事儿。
I do think Obama administration could do something on this case.
Like what?
因为陈光诚在他的山东的原籍受到迫害。受到当地的这个政府的迫害，这是全世界都知道的事情。那么现在我们可以问问他，到底陈光诚在当地是不是受到迫害？中国政府应该就此进行调查，而且要对这些违法乱纪的行为进行处理。那么如果这样做的话，对陈光诚来说，对中国的这些受迫害的艺人士来说，都是一个很大的帮助。
I think the administration could do something. Because the whole international society know that Mr. Chen and his family were prosecuted in China. That's very well known. And so therefore, the administration could ask the Chinese government what happened to Mr. Chen when he was in his home. Was he prosecuted? How he was prosecuted? And if indeed that happened, who is responsible? And how could those responsible officials be punished? So therefore, there is a lot to demand that you could give.
Yeah, a lot of people disagree there. Let me move on. Boss Li, this is an internal power struggle within the party, right? This is not likely to impact any way the lives of the regular Chinese people are affected, right?
他说我在谈薄熙来的问题，说这薄熙来这个完全限于党内，他不会改变中国人任何普通中国人的生活，对吗？
我想事实就是如此，这是一场党内的权力斗争，而不牵涉中国是不是建立民主制度。
薄熙来 case is involved with the internal struggle within the communist leadership. It is not related as if China is going to be to have democracy or not.
Yeah, so it isn't that important to the regular Chinese people. They've got other concerns.
但是他想说，一般的老百姓对薄熙来也没什么兴趣，因为他们不担心，无所谓。
我想其实老百姓很关注这件事情。
No, the average folks are very concerned of this case.
过去老百姓都反对薄熙来，因为薄熙来用一些非法的手段去处理一些案件，但是现在反过来说，薄熙来本人被用非法的手段处理，所以老百姓开始很关心这个案子。
In the past, the average Chinese paid attention on Mr. Bo because he used illegal ways to deal with a lot of cases, and now since turned around, Mr. Bo is dealt illegally by the others on his own case. So therefore, people are interested to know the outcome.
Right. All right. Let me move on. Here's probably my most important question. I think you wrote that there won't be modernization in China without democracy. Having just come from there for a short period of time, a lot of what I saw seems to contradict that. There seems to be a lot of modernization going on in democracy in China and no democracy.
他说，现在他要问的是最重要的问题。你写了，你说如果没有民主就没有现代化。可是他说我所看到的跟你的是相反的。我在中国看到了很多的现代化，但是仍然没有民主。
我想现代化不等于是高楼大厦，你看到的只是高楼大厦，是一些新的商品，但是呢，所谓的现代化应该是这个国家的大多数人民都享受的东西，比如说美国，大多数美国人都在享受美国的现代化，而在中国只有不到10%的人在享受这个现代化。那么这个现代化能说是中国的现代化吗
？I think there is the issue of defining this modernization. In my view, modernization is not simply as there is high buildings and a lot of food. The issue is like in United States, people are not just simply enjoying some material life. They also enjoy liberty and democracy. But that's the true meaning of modernization. That's part of modernization is democracy and freedom. And so my question is, less than 10% of Chinese truly have something like that. So would you call that China is modernized now by this definition?
You think that less than 10% of the Chinese population is enjoying, experiencing this modernization taking part?
他说，你就是说你认为不到10%的中国人在享受这种民主？
也不是民主，他们享受只是富裕的生活，就像薄熙来一样。当人家想要抓起他来的时候，也可以用非法的手段把他抓起来。
This 10% of Chinese are not even enjoying democracy. They only enjoy a very good living. So, like Mr. Bo, he was among that few percent of people. But as soon as he got arrested, he's out of that circle as well.
All right, looking at you, Cristobal, what do you predict for China and the Chinese people?
他说：“那你对中国是什么样的这个预测？和中国人民会出现什么样的情况？”
实际上，现在中国的人民，不管是穷人还是中产阶级，包括甚至很多有钱人， 对现在这种不民主的、没有法治的现实呢，都已经非常不满意了，越来越不满意。
The current Chinese people, especially those poor people and even in middle class, they get more and more unhappy with the reality in China because it's a lack of democracy and justice. They're getting more and more unhappy.
那么这个国家就有两种可能，要么就是共产党主动的向民主化进行改革，像台湾、像苏联这两种模式都有可能；还有一种可能就是他们不改革的话，老百姓可能已经不耐烦了，可能要造反，比如说埃及、利比亚这种结局都是可能的。
So therefore, there is only two futures for China. One future is that the Chinese communist leadership took the initiative for democracy, such as the situation happened could be like Taiwan or could be like a former Soviet Union. Then the other side is that Chinese communist leadership refused for any reform. And then, meanwhile, the Chinese people could not tolerate that anymore. And then they would likely to revolve and to have a revolution like what had happened in Egypt and Libya.
Okay.